Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Look, let's just dive right in today, because we are unpacking a really puzzling financial paradox. It's one of those things that sounds completely contradictory on the surface, but it's actually a silent reality for millions of people. We're talking about the phenomenon of earning this massive, impressive salary, but somehow still feeling totally, utterly broke at the end of every single month. I know, it sounds crazy, right? But as we dig into the source material today, the reasons for this start to become surprisingly clear.
So $100,000. Take a second to actually picture making that in a single year. For a lot of folks, that number feels like the ultimate financial finish line, like you've made it. But I want you to also imagine earning that exact amount and yet still finding yourself living completely paycheck to paycheck. Anxiously waiting for that next direct deposit to hit just so you can cover your basic bills. Sounds literally impossible, doesn't it?
But here's the wild part. This is not some made-up hypothetical. Millions of Americans are trapped in this exact super stressful situation right now. And it forces us to ask a pretty uncomfortable question. How in the world are some of the highest paid, hardest working people out there actively drowning in debt? Well, by the end of this explainer, we're going to uncover a hidden financial reality that schools just never teach us. And we'll see exactly how the wealthy escape this cycle while everyone else just keeps running on the treadmill.
Section 1. The high income illusion.
Okay, so to get why this happens, we kind of have to acknowledge that America is one of the absolute richest countries on Earth, and salaries here are generally much higher than in most other places. But despite all this money flowing around, millions of people fundamentally struggle to save a dime. The reason? Income is simply not the same thing as wealth. See, when a lot of people get a higher salary, they don't just bank the extra cash. They immediately take on bigger expenses. It usually starts with a hefty mortgage payment, then an expensive car loan. Next, we start piling on credit card debt, and then you add in lingering student loans, and finally, the unavoidable costs of insurance and healthcare. When you stack all these everyday expenses up, you can really see how quickly and honestly how quietly they eat away at that big paycheck until the money just flat out disappears.
Financial experts actually have a specific name for this exact mess, the income trap. It's when you secure that coveted six-figure salary, but you look at your bank account and realize you have almost nothing left at the end of the month. And why is that? It's because lifestyle inflation quietly, almost invisibly eats every single dollar you bring in. It just makes it crystal clear that a high income actually provides a really dangerous illusion of wealth if your expenses are just constantly rising to match every extra dime you make. Moving on to Section 2. What is lifestyle inflation? Picture this for a second. You just walked out of your boss's office with a $20,000 raise. That is a massive moment. Naturally, you're going to celebrate. But the trap lies in exactly how we choose to celebrate. A lot of times, that 20 grand suddenly turns into trading in the trusty old sedan for a leased luxury sports car, or moving to a pricier zip code, upgrading to the newest phone the literal day it drops, and swapping home-cooked meals for fancy lobster dinners. Before you know it, the celebration turns into a permanent, very pricey lifestyle upgrade. And that behavior right there is exactly what we call lifestyle inflation. It happens when your expenses increase just as fast as your income does. And I really want you to let the second half of this definition sink in for a minute. Instead of becoming richer, a person simply becomes more expensive. You aren't actually building a wealth. You're literally just increasing your own maintenance cost. You've basically just become a more expensive version of your broke self.
This whole dynamic creates a fundamental divide in human behavior. The average person gets more money and boom, they immediately inflate their lifestyle. They buy things. But looking through our sources, the wealthy do the exact opposite. When they get a bump in income, they increase their investments first. They prioritize making their money grow before they even entertain the idea of upgrading their lifestyle.
Which brings us to Section 3, the hidden cost of debt.
You see this illusion of wealth we've been talking about? It's heavily subsidized by a buy now, pay later culture that completely masks the financial damage happening beneath the surface. And it usually starts small, right? Like maybe $5,000 on a credit card. It doesn't seem like the end of the world. Maybe it's a vacation, some new furniture, unexpected car repairs. But because of how quietly compounding interest works, if you're only making the minimum payments, that simple $5,000 balance is eventually going to cost you thousands and thousands of dollars more over time. That original price tag, total illusion.
And let's be real, it is rarely just a single credit card. The average American household is balancing multiple forms of debt all at the exact same time. You've got the car loans, the student loans, personal loans, and a massive mortgage. It's essentially a constant multi-front war waged on your monthly paycheck.
There is this one quote from the source material that just completely cuts to the core of this. It says, instead of investing for tomorrow, people pay for yesterday. I mean, wow, read that again. Debt literally steals your future income. Every single dollar you send off to pay for a past purchase plus interest is a dollar that cannot be invested into your future. This is exactly why getting out of debt is considered one of the absolute biggest financial advantages you can ever give yourself.
Section 4. How the wealthy think. So, escaping this trap is fundamentally about psychology. It requires us to really examine the completely different way wealthy people interact with their money. When the average person gets their hands on some extra cash, the consumer mindset instantly kicks in. What can I buy? But when wealthy individuals have capital, the investor mindset takes over, and they ask a vastly different question. Will this make me money? They aren't looking for a shiny new purchase. They are looking for a return. So when they ask themselves, will this make me money, what exactly are they buying? Well, they're buying income-generating assets. We're talking stocks, index funds, businesses, real estate, and the real beauty of these vehicles, they do the heavy lifting for you. Your money is out there clocking in and working hard while you sleep, instead of just sitting in your driveway depreciating.
It really all boils down to this one pivotal difference. The trap is spending your money first, paying all those inflated lifestyle bills, and just crossing your fingers that something, anything, is left over to save. And spoiler alert, there rarely is. The secret? Investing first. Before upgrading their lifestyle, the wealthy direct their money straight into assets, and then only after they've invested do they spend whatever is left. Honestly, that one difference changes absolutely everything.
All right, Section 5. The ultimate financial secret.
Okay, so we've looked at the illusion of high income, the danger of lifestyle inflation, and the hidden cost of debt. The ultimate conclusion we can draw from our sources is this incredibly clear, 4-step actionable playbook on how to actually keep more of your money. Let's walk through it real quick. Step 1, avoid lifestyle inflation. Seriously, when you get a raise, just pretend you didn't. Step 2, reduce bad debt. Stop paying for yesterday so you can actually fund tomorrow. Step 3, invest consistently. Make it a real habit, not just a sometimes thing. And Step 4, build assets. Accumulate things that pay you while you sleep. Becoming rich almost never happens overnight. It's the result of these tiny, smart financial decisions, repeated over years and years, that eventually create extraordinary wealth.
So I want to wrap up our explainer today by leaving you with a pretty provocative question to think about. What will your next smart financial decision be? Just remember, escaping the income trap and actually building lasting wealth happens one smart decision at a time. The knowledge is right here in front of us, but your financial future truly starts with what you choose to do with everything we've unpacked today. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive, and I will see you in the next explainer.